Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
An early wake-up call for some neighbors just north of downtown after flames spark inside a home. We have the latest on the scene in just a few minutes.
And we are tracking Tropical Storm Hannah this weekend as it prepares to make landfall. Just ahead, two meteorologists. We have Justin Horn and our Sarah Spivey. They're going to be discussing the latest and what you need to know.
Taking a look outside, it's 79 degrees, and man, it's almost as if you can feel the before the storm humidity out there this morning. Sarah Spivey will let you know about our weekend forecast in just a bit. Good morning.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock this Saturday, July 25th.
It's so good to be here again this
Happy
weekend
to have
with you guys.
You're bringing a little ray of sunshine, some much needed sunshine for today.
Well, maybe we're gonna, I want it to rain. I'm looking forward to a indoor Saturday.
You know who's actually the ray of sunshine this morning? Our own Sarah Spivey.
Well, thank you guys very much. Yeah, this weekend is all about what is now currently Tropical Storm Hannah, expected to strengthen and make landfall just south of Corpus Christi near the Baffin Bay area, probably making landfall in the early afternoon to early evening hours and strengthening to a hurricane probably within these morning hours here. So we'll be tracking that very carefully. Thankfully, here in San Antonio, we're just going to see bands from Hannah, bringing us areas of scattered showers and storms. It's really the coast from right around the Rockport area all the way down to Padre Island that's really going to have to brace for the impacts of what is currently Tropical Storm Hannah. So let's talk a little bit about Hannah. Hannah's sustained winds are about 70 miles per hour with gusts up to 85 miles per hour. It's moving west at about 9 miles per hour. Again, expected to make landfall later on today. We'll go ahead and put the track on there. Strengthening to Category 1 hurricane, probably making landfall with winds of about 80 miles per hour in the early afternoon to early evening hours. And then eventually, Hannah will make its way across the RGV. The Rio Grande Valley still has hurricane strength winds later on this afternoon and evening, eventually dissipating over the lower Sierra Madres by tomorrow afternoon. So what does that mean for us in San Antonio? Well, it means on and off again showers and storms throughout the weekend. There will not be raining all the time, and not everybody will see a lot of rain. In fact, when all is said and done, by the end of Sunday, probably only looking at, in some places, pockets of up to an inch of rainfall. But our very own meteorologist, Justin Horn, is down along the coast near Corpus Christi. He's going to have an update for us later on today in just the next 30 minutes or so, and I will have the rest of your forecast for your weekend coming up shortly. Max, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Starting early this morning, fire crews working to get control of flames that threaten to destroy a home just north of downtown.
Firefighters were called out to the 800 block of West French Place around 4:30 this morning.
Alicia Barrera has been there through the morning. She joins us live. So, Alicia, was anyone inside the home?
Good morning. Well, thankfully, no. According to the San Antonio Fire Department, the home behind me, we're going to try to see if we can light that up a little bit here, but it's a little difficult as they just took off. But this home, we're told, was being remodeled, and at one point this morning, more than 10 fire units were on the scene, and you can actually still hear that fire alarm going off inside the home. But the fire has been fully put out, again, just cleared out literally seconds ago. We know this fire started around 4:30 this morning, and it started to the right side of the home. Firefighters say that when they arrived on the scene, they saw those flames coming from the windows, and they didn't have any problems putting out this fire, and they were able to extinguish it in less than an hour. And it might not be a total loss, but what firefighters say is that there is extensive damage. They don't have an estimate of the cost at this point, but they do suspect that something went wrong here. So they have called Arson, as there was no electricity to this home that, again, was being remodeled, and no one was inside when they arrived. Reporting live, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alicia. Also new this morning, a crash on the north side ends with one person dead and two more in the hospital. This was the scene just after 3 a.m. in the 8100 block of Blanco. Police on the scene say the driver of a convertible was speeding southbound. That's when they rear-ended a BMW who was also traveling southbound. The driver of that black convertible dying on impact. Two people were inside the other BMW that was hit. A woman in the passenger seat taken to Northeast Baptist, and last check, stable condition. The man who was driving treated on the scene, didn't have to go to the hospital. Police say speed absolutely a factor. Right now, trying to determine if alcohol was also a factor as this investigation is ongoing. And we have the latest confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in Bexar County. Almost 300 new cases reported from our local leadership's briefing.
Bringing the total of confirmed cases in Bexar County to 34,932 since the pandemic started. But let's just take a look at those numbers. There are 299 new cases and 15 new deaths in the community. This brings the death toll to 313 people. Mayor Ron Nirenberg also announced a hospitalization rate has decreased.
1,059 people still in the hospital, 430 in the ICU, 294 on ventilators. Staffed hospital beds right now 11%.
Well, this week, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued new guidelines which are aimed at helping schools reopen. But one San Antonio teacher says the classroom is not a safe place to learn. Luke Amplet is the teacher at Burbank High School. He says education should not come before health. The new CDC guidelines say administrators should maintain a healthy environment and develop a plan if a student or staff member tests positive for COVID-19. The guidelines do state that if community transmission is not decreasing, school closures should be considered and virtual learning will be continued.
And in the midst of this pandemic, 200 Metro health workers are actually working from the Alamo Dome, and their responsibility is keeping track of the cases here in Bexar County. Case investigators identify and look into these confirmed cases. Tracers are then in charge of finding out who has a COVID positive person been in contact with. The goal is to let people know early so that they can take the proper precautions and stay home. Metro Health says the phone conversations are confidential and that the caller ID will read SA Health Department. That way, people don't think it's spam and they'll answer the phone. And this way, Metro Health can accurately track the virus here in our community. Time now is 6:07, 79 degrees out.
Well, our favorite, the Spurs, are back in action today with the second scrimmage against the Brooklyn Nets. We will have a preview later in the show.
And it is Saturday. It is Weathered Souls right there. We are talking Texas Eats. Next on GMSA, David Elder talking barbecue, desserts, craft beer. What else do you need? Breakfast at Champions.
Absolutely. Well, all right, Mr. Breakfast of Champions, let's look outside with live cam. Oh, the sun's coming up. Beautiful sunrise there. 79 degrees. Our lovely Sarah Spivey will be giving you your weekend forecast when we come back.
Good morning. Welcome back and happy Saturday. It is Saturday. You know what that means?
David Elder.
David Elder. We got Texas Eats. You can watch it twice today, 10 a.m. and 11 tonight.
In this clip, David Elder is at Weathered Souls. He's talking about their delicious barbecue, desserts, and you cannot forget the craft beer.
With me now is the man, the myth, the legend out here, the mad scientist, Marcus Baskerville, and you're creating some incredible brews out here.
So what we have here is our Imperial Stout Cavernous, chocolate, some different caramel characteristics in it, but this is basically what we use for a base for a lot of our specialty beers with some of the heavy treated stouts.
This, when you said caramel, that was the first word that came to my mind. It's nice and thick, it's a full-bodied beer, and it tastes like a meal in itself.
Very heavy.
It's very heavy. This is really good.
Doppelbock basically is a double version of a bock, but it's a heavier version with lots of caramel, melanoidin malts, heavy malts period within it, 10% lager. So something different since typically we're heavy on stouts and IPAs.
Well, that is very different. That is really good though. I mean, everything you guys do out here is always delicious, and I would almost dare say everything's a little creamy. You guys,
a little bit.
Yeah. You like to you add it. It's like a special little touch you can only get when you come out here to Weathered Souls. This is really good, and these are sipping beers.
Yes.
This is not come out here and like woo. This is actually come out here and enjoy a really solid beer. Both are amazing, and I'll tell you what, they would both go really well with all this delicious food that's being cranked out here as well. You guys are killing it. Keep doing your thing, man. Andrew, Marcus, you guys both rock. Cheers to you. Cheers. 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 Great food out here at Weathered Souls, and of course, great beer as well.
Well, today.
There you go. We get a small little glimpse of that. Oh, that looked so good. But don't worry, we're going to be checking with David throughout the day. So if you're not too much about craft beer and you want to see the food and desserts, just stay with us throughout the morning.
Yeah, and today is definitely a sipping morning to sip a beverage, stay inside.
How do you start your morning? Maybe sip coffee.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, I'm drinking coffee right now. But Sarah, it's maybe a stay inside kind of day.
Well, it's interesting because here in San Antonio, we're really not going to see ongoing rainfall from what is currently Tropical Storm Hannah, expected to make landfall later on today as a hurricane. But what we are going to see are bands of showers, kind of like the bands of showers that are occurring right now near Victoria. Those scattered showers and storms. At times there will be areas of rain, and at times you may even see a little bit of sun. So here in San Antonio, we're really not going to be affected in a major way by Tropical Storm Hannah. However, it is a totally different story from Aransas Pass all the way down to South Padre Island across the Texas coast, because like I said, Hannah is expected to strengthen to a hurricane, making landfall south of Corpus Christi, probably by the afternoon hours here, And so hurricane warnings for areas around Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre into Corpus Christi. Tropical storm warnings out near Galveston all the way down to Brownsville. So large portion of the Texas coast is going to be affected in some way by this storm. Our very own Justin Horn is out in Corpus Christi. He's in the storm chaser tracking this storm. Justin, what are you seeing? I know the storm is yet to make landfall. I'd be interested in hearing and seeing what you're seeing out there. Justin?
Hey, good morning to you, Sarah. We're right now seeing winds maybe about 30 miles per hour. You mentioned sort of that initial squall that came through. We did see that about 30 minutes ago. I'd say winds picked up to about 40 miles per hour. We got some good driving rain, and we're going to continue to see a little bit more of that, I think, going forward. I want to show you what's going on here behind me. Crews have moved these barriers up here on this road that we're on because the water is starting to come up a little bit. We're starting to see sort of the first of that storm surge, and they want to be very careful here and make sure people stay off the beach. A lot of the beaches are closed, and it's going to get a little more dangerous as we go through time here, as the waters will come up some and the surf will come up. You can see some of the debris out there that is already washed up here. But right now, winds aren't terribly strong. They'll start to gradually pick up, I think, as you mentioned, Sarah, over the next couple of hours. And we'll be watching to see whether or not Hannah becomes a hurricane. It looks likely that it will. And we will see some of the effects here in Corpus Christi. Now, I think the biggest effects will probably be just to our south. And the good news there, it's a little more, less populated down there. So hopefully it won't be causing a ton of damage. But we'll keep an eye out here in Corpus. We'll let you know as things sort of evolve as we get later into this morning. We'll have more reports coming up. Sarah, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. He mentioned earlier that they're trying to protect against storm surge. In some places within that hurricane warning, right on the coast, storm surge expected of 3 to 5 feet in some areas. And he mentioned that he's seen that first squall of about 40 miles per hour. Right now, Hannah is currently at 70 miles per hour with sustained winds. It's expected to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane, potentially making landfall just south of Corpus Christi and south of Baffin Bay, right at around the afternoon hours. So we'll be looking out for that. And then as it heads into the RGV, still maintaining hurricane strength, but gradually falling apart. And then by tomorrow in the afternoon hours, when it runs against the Sierra Madres, it'll practically fall apart. Now, what does that mean for us here in San Antonio? Well, here in San Antonio, we're going to be seeing the outer rain bands of Hannah. There's going to be some flooding issues for areas in Corpus Christi and in the Rio Grande Valley, but here in San Antonio, we're going to have those outer bands. So throughout the day today, there will be periods of tropical downpours. As we head into the evening hours, that may taper off just a bit, but as Hannah dissipates and falls apart over the Sierra Madres, that's actually a good thing for us, because that means when these systems are less organized, there can be more rain from outside of the system's center. And so tomorrow, there's expected to be some more scattered showers and storms on your Sunday as well. So we'll call it about a 60% chance for on and off again scattered showers and storms today. And then tomorrow, about a 70% chance for that. Now, there's going to be a lot of rain for areas around Corpus Christi and south of that into the Rio Grande Valley. Some pockets of up to 8 to 9 to even 10 inches of rain there. But here in San Antonio, you'll be lucky if we get to see about an inch of rainfall. So we're not expecting washout by any means, but any rain will be welcome. Right now outside, it's actually quite quite pleasant. Beautiful sunrise there, 79 degrees in San Antonio, right around 80 degrees. And those clouds will gradually increase throughout the day, but we will see peaks of sunshine. Right now we do have some rain out near Cuero and Victoria and Goliad from those outer bands there. And then this is a look at your Saturday forecast. Warming up to about 90 degrees, so it's still going to be a toasty day, but just not as hot as the last few days, thank goodness, because of the added cloud cover and rain. We'll see gusts up to 30 miles per hour, so it will be a breezy day for us here in San Antonio. Tomorrow, 70% chance for scattered showers and storms, and then in the week ahead, our rain chances will gradually taper off and we'll be back to the heat by next weekend. Max, Sarah.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. 6:18, 79 degrees out.
Well, basketball is finally back, and today is game day for our San Antonio Spurs. We're talking sports after the.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Saturday. We are all smiles this morning. Not only do we have baseball, yes, both the Astros and the Rangers starting the season 1-0, but we also have basketball and a lot of players back in the court, and they are bringing a message. They're bringing attention to the Black Lives Matter movement. From the court decals to the uniforms, the opportunity is there for players to tell stories about social injustice. And one of those players, Spurs guard Lonnie Walker, already revealing his own nightmare as a child suffering from sexual abuse. Now, he responds to the question about having the opportunity to be heard like never before.
It means a lot. It means the world. You know, at the end of the day, you know, basketball is only just a tool to send our messages. You know, we have a generation, we have millions and millions of people that watch our game. So with this God gift that he has given us, we have to continue to spread our message the right way and understand that people are going to follow that direction. So having the Black Lives Matter on the court, it's not only a bigger picture for myself and a lot of other black athletes on the team, but it's a bigger picture for the world and all.
Silver and Black didn't fare too well against the Bucks and reigning MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, but they are back at it today. 3:30 taking on Brooklyn Nets, and then Tuesday, Indiana Pacers, 3 p.m. Fun fact about the Pacers, they already lost their best player. But at the end of the day, it is just scrimmages. They really don't matter that much. The real first game, the one that matters, July 31st, 7 o'clock, taking on the Kings. The Spurs have the opportunity to make the playoffs. It's going to be tough. They could make it. There's a theoretical world they can make it, but right now it's about getting those younger players as many reps as possible.
I'm staying optimistic, man.
Cautious optimism. All right, time now, 6:23, 79 degrees out.
Well, painting for 100 days. That's what a woman in Alaska decided to do to raise money for a good cause. Her story is up next on GMS.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy weekend. 6:26 this Saturday morning. Have you done anything to kind of get through this quarantine? Anything that you haven't done before?
I painted.
You started painting. That is a
painting.
perfect transition, because the story is an artist in Alaska decided to paint for 100 days, creating a new work every day. Have you painted for the last 100 days?
I painted like twice.
Okay.
She's way ahead on me on this, but she was doing it not just to improve or to keep busy. She's actually raising money for a bigger cause. Christina Wilson is painting for 100 days, a total of 100 paintings, and with the help of another artist, she decided she will be auctioning her work.
Now, they teamed up to raise $25,000 for Alaska Sea Life Center, which works on research and rehabilitation. Christina has been working from home, but next month will move back to her studio in front of the Sea Life Center and paint from there. All right, well, you have 98 to go.
I'm getting there.
Getting there. 6:27, 79 degrees out.
Well, we continue the team coverage of Tropical Storm Hannah, and we will have the latest updates from our weather team. That's still ahead.
Good morning and welcome back. 6:30 this morning, Saturday, July 25th.
Think you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Sarah Costa. I'm so happy to be here along with Max and Sarah Spivey this morning.
So happy to have you this morning. I think your schedule's on line with mine. Were we both the last 2 days off?
The last two, yes.
Yes, it was a weekend.
I'm coming off of a weekend.
We pretend we have weekends. What'd you do?
What did I do? I did not leave my house. I really didn't leave my house. I just sat home and I read and caught up on a lot of sleep.
There you go. I feel like not leaving your house can be a perfect day for today, right, Sarah?
Well, at least for the afternoon hours, I think we'll have some scattered showers and storms around then. But here in San Antonio, we've probably actually got it made in the shade compared to those along the Texas coast today, all because of what is currently Tropical Storm Hannah. You can see some outer bands giving some brief rain showers for areas like Cuero in our KSAT 12 viewing area and down to Victoria. But here is Tropical Storm Hannah. Winds are sustained at 70 miles per hour. Gusts already of up to 85 miles per hour. Now, hurricane strength is 74 mile per hour sustained winds. So as you can tell, Tropical Storm Hannah is very close to hurricane strength, and it is expected to strengthen here to hurricane strength probably by the early afternoon at the latest, making landfall later on near south of Corpus Christi, south of Baffin Bay, probably along Laguna Madre as a Category 1 hurricane. That's where the hurricane warnings are for, again, winds of over 74 miles per hour, up to 80 miles per hour sustained winds. And you can see tropical storm warnings for just about all of the Texas coast, other than that hurricane warning around the Corpus Christi area. So areas like Rockport, Port Aransas, Corpus Christi, Riviera, Port Mansfield, all under that hurricane warning. Although, again, probably right along Baffin Bay into Laguna Madre, that's where this storm is expected to make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. We'll take you through the sustained wind forecast. You can see areas around Corpus Christi will probably be feeling tropical storm force winds of up to 55 miles per hour by the lunch hour. That's where our very own Justin Horn is. And then the big hurricane strength winds in Laguna Madre, probably around the early afternoon hours. That's when it's expected to make landfall before eventually falling apart by tomorrow afternoon along the lower Sierra Madres there. Now, here in San Antonio, what does that mean for us? It means scattered showers and storms on and off from Hannah's outer bands. So we'll call it about a 60% chance of off and on downpours. With these tropical downpours, it is always hit or miss. There are some places that get good downpours, healthy rainfall, and then there are others that just miss out on good rain, and that's going to be the case for us today, unfortunately. By the end of the weekend, we could have up to an inch of rain in some places. Today, though, it will be breezy. We'll have winds from the east-northeast at 15 to 25, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. So we have got a lot to unpack in the full forecast, including an update about Tropical Storm Hannah and how that's going to affect us here in San Antonio. Next, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. And like Sarah was saying, all eyes on the Gulf Coast as Tropical Storm Hannah makes its way towards land. We are learning more about the storm that appears like it's getting more and more strong as it gets closer and closer to shore.
It looks like it's going to make landfall near Corpus Christi, my hometown, possibly bringing heavy rains, gusting winds, and flash flooding. Our meteorologist Justin Horn joins us live from Corpus Christi. Justin, I understand you guys were able to cross the causeway, which is usually closed during storms, so it's still open.
It is for right now. We'll see how long that lasts, and we're certainly going to be safe about this as we cover this potential hurricane. Not yet, but it looks like it could become a hurricane a little bit later today. I'm going to get Bill to sort of zoom in on the water here behind me, and you can see the surf is really starting to pick up. We're seeing some bigger waves, and we've seen some of that water come actually up onto this road that we're on. Now, we're a little farther back, but the water's come up. We've seen some debris. They've had to actually, this wooden structure, if you can see it, they actually had to pull that in from the water because it was the water was coming up so quickly. So they got a tractor and pulled that up, and there has been quite a bit of debris out there. But winds are picking up some. We're expecting the winds to get a little bit stronger as we go through time here, especially by the lunch hour. We think we could see some bigger gusts. Right now we're seeing gusts probably 30 miles per hour. We've seen a few showers move through some of the heavier rain, and we're getting a little bit of rain as we speak right now. But conditions are expected to deteriorate. We talked to some residents yesterday. They are hunkering down. They're treating this storm and potential hurricane with respect, which is a good thing. And we're going to have much more from the Corpus Christi area as Hannah gets a little bit closer. We'll have some more updates throughout the show. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Justin. Governor Greg Abbott telling Texans along the coast to stay alert and be prepared for the storm. In the statement, Governor Abbott saying in part, quote, "I urge all those who are in the path of the storm to heed the warnings and guidance from local officials before the storm makes landfall. The state of Texas will coordinate with local officials and provide assistance and resources to communities in that area," end quote. And new this morning, an early morning wake-up call for neighbors just north of downtown after flames sparking inside a home.
Firefighters arrived at the 800 block of West French Place around 4:30 this morning, where fire crews say things aren't really adding up. Our Alicia Beretta is live from the scene.
So, Alicia, do firefighters have any idea how this all started?
Well, not exactly, not just quite, but they know that this home was undergoing renovations and didn't have any electricity. Therefore, they have ruled out an electrical fire. So therefore, the next step is calling out Arson so they can piece together this whole thing. But I want to have you take a look on your screen so you can see how this fire looked earlier this morning when it started around 4:30. We spoke to one of the neighbors, Mr. Bob here, and he shared this video, and he says that he actually heard the alarm, stepped out around 4:30, and said he was able to calmly step out and call firefighters. And this is what he saw. You can see that those flames kind of bursting out of the right side of the home near the windows. And this morning, this is what the scene looks like. There is extensive damage. It's not a total loss, but you can see on the right side there, all the windows busted out, and you can see some of that smoke damage left behind. And that fire actually also affecting outside of the home to a little storage shed that's out here. Again, extensive damage. Firefighters say they didn't have much problems putting out the fire, and they actually wrapped things up in less than an hour. No cost estimate yet, but again, Arson is on their way to determine what happened, what led to this fire. As again, the home is undergoing renovations, and no one was here at the time, no electricity as well, so they're wanting to figure out what happened. Reporting live, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alicia. A San Antonio cumbia singer has lost his life against COVID-19. 46-year-old Ernesto Cortez was a singer for Onda Caliente. The band posted a message from Cortez's daughter yesterday saying he passed from cardiac arrest. The singer had been at Baptist Hospital since June 18th. His family says his symptoms began with a fever that then developed into a bad cough.
And this morning, San Antonio Independent School District mourning the loss of one of their elementary school teachers. Carmen Canales taught at Ogden Academy since 2017. She passed away this week after battling COVID-19. District officials say she had tested positive for COVID-19 this past summer. She had been hospitalized. The district does plan to honor her when school is back on session, and they will be offering counseling for her coworkers. Canales was 48 years old.
Well, across the U.S., it was another week of record numbers. 15 states and Puerto Rico setting records for the number of hospitalizations.
And the death toll continuing to climb, surging 20% from just last week. ABC's Karina Mitchell has the latest.
With 30 U.S. states and Puerto Rico reporting a growing number of daily deaths, White House Task Force Coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx comparing the California, Florida, and Texas hotspots to the early days of the pandemic.
What we have right now are essentially 3 New Yorks.
One of those states, Texas, is organizing 1,200 troops under a joint command to support hospitals in multiple hard-hit cities. The coronavirus taking such a heavy toll on Houston, the city now announcing virtual classes only when students return the day after Labor Day. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the country's top infectious disease doctor, calling for more action from cities and states, saying those hardest hit should halt reopening.
You certainly have to call a pause and maybe even a backing up a bit.
New Orleans doing just that. As of 6 a.m. this morning, all bars and restaurants prohibited from selling takeout drinks. The mayor saying, quote, this essentially will mean bars will be closed throughout the parish. In Florida, cases still skyrocketing. More than 300,000 new infections in just the past month. More than 50 hospitals there have no available ICU beds. Doctors suiting up in PPE, giving ABC News a look inside Miami's Jackson Memorial Hospital's expanded COVID ward.
It's extremely busy. So we're full. Our waiting room is full. All our areas are full.
And 2 weeks after President Trump criticized the CDC's guidelines to reopen schools, calling them, quote, very tough and expensive, the agency releasing new guidance defending the push to get children back into the classroom, saying COVID poses a low risk to kids. In Kentucky, where the situation is worsening, the governor asked if he were a teacher, would he go back inside the classroom?
I wouldn't ask a teacher to do that today. Today, where we are right now, I would not ask that.
This, as a ABC News Ipsos poll shows, only 44% of parents say they're willing to send their kids to school. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
Well, if you're in need of school supplies for your kids, listen up. Councilwoman Rebecca Villagran is hosting the 8th annual Back to School event that's happening this weekend. The event will be a drive-through with free school supplies and a backpack giveaway. It's happening today at Mission Branch Library off of Roosevelt Avenue from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The San Antonio Food Bank will also be there distributing food boxes to those who are pre-registered. Our Alicia Barrera will be live in our next hour to give us insight to the event.
Time now 6:41, 79 degrees out.
A new book club at UTSA is hoping to continue the discussion over racism and criminal justice reform. Still ahead, how the Racial Justice Book Club came to be.
And if you're looking for some cool outdoor spots to spend the rest of the summer, we have the answers. Next on GMSA, some ideas of where you can go.
And taking a look outside with live cam, 79 degrees, beautiful sunrise out there. Well, the sun is already up. Clouds a little cloudy today, but our Sarah Spivey, she'll be back next along with Justin Horn. Welcome back. If you're looking for some fun to have with your family during your days off and don't know where to go or what to do, we have some ideas for you.
Here are some of the top ways to stay cool in our local Texas state parks. Take a look. For swimming, Guadalupe River State Park entrance only $7 a day. Kids under 12 go in for free. Big win there. Then you have Garner State Park entrance $8 a day, and that's for 13 years and older.
And if you want to go paddle boarding, Garner State Park is still a good option. They have kayaks and paddle boats available. Also, this is maybe not for this weekend, but for future weekends, Lake Corpus Christi has a self-service kayak and paddleboard rentals through Paddle Easy. And do you love looking at the stars? I sure do. Well, there are some options for that as well.
Davis Mountains and Indian Lodge State Parks, close to the McDonald Observatory. Then you have, oh, look at that, inside Brazos Bend State Park. You can find the George Observatory. For more information and options, we have all that information at KSAT.com and the wildlife website, tpwd.texas.gov. So, Sarah, what can people expect this weekend?
Locally in San Antonio, some areas of scattered rain. Yeah, don't go to Corpus Christi this weekend because they are going to be dealing with what will probably be Hurricane Hannah here within the next few hours. We'll see it strengthen. There are some showers reaching the KSAT 12 viewing area from these outer bands of Hannah right now. Near Gonzales, seeing a shower near Cuero and Hallettsville. You're about to get a good round of moderate to heavy downpours briefly here. Victoria seeing some ongoing rain and some breezy conditions as well. But the weather forecast is all about what is currently still Tropical Storm Hannah. You can see Hannah here in the Gulf. Its winds are sustained at 70 miles per hour with gusts of up to 85 miles per hour. It's moving to the west at about 9 miles per hour. Now, Hannah is expected to strengthen, eventually making it to hurricane strength of wind speeds of greater than 74 miles per hour, making landfall likely south of Corpus Christi near Baffin Bay and into Laguna Madre. So we'll keep an eye on that. Expected to make landfall probably in the afternoon hours. Otherwise, there are tropical storm warnings all along the Texas coast for gusty winds. And we could even see storm surge right in that hurricane warning area from about 3 to 5 feet. So again, that's Rockport to Port Aransas, Corpus Christi, Riviera, Port Mansfield, and in Laguna Madre. That's that hurricane warning for areas out to Alice, Falfurrias, and Corpus Christi as well. So Hannah is going to continue to move to the west or to the south, and this is a look at rainfall as it makes a Category 1 landfall probably in the afternoon hours, potentially winds of up to 80 miles per hour with gusts even greater than that. A lot of rain for the RGV, potentially in some places up to 10 plus inches of rainfall. So the flooding is going to be an issue as well as those winds and the storm surge. Eventually, Hannah will dissipate over the Sierra Madres. Notice that in San Antonio, our rain is going to be very streaky. There are going to be pockets where places might see up to about an inch of rain throughout this weekend through Sunday evening. But really the main area of heavy rainfall will be south of Corpus Christi and into the RGV. Areas like Victoria, Hallettsville may see pockets of up to 2 inches of rain. But again, here in San Antonio, only near an inch of rain through Sunday. But hey, July has been dry, so we'll take any little bit of rain we can get. I'm sorry, if you live up in the hill country, likely only going to see maybe up to about 1/4 of an inch of rain from these outer bands that will be spotty at times. That's just the way it is. Earlier in the forecast, it looked like rain was going to be better for us, but unfortunately, the way that tropical systems work is they kind of have a mind of their own at times. The Gulf of Mexico is big, and it affects the weather in a big way. 79 in New Braunfels, 78 in Hondo, 76 to start the day in Uvalde. It's 84 in Del Rio. Del Rio will be hot today. 73 in Rock Springs, 81 in Laredo. You'll notice that winds are going to be breezy today. We're already seeing winds pick up from the northeast at about 15 miles per hour in New Braunfels. Today, those winds will be gusting up to 30 miles per hour, all because of Hannah churning well to the south of San Antonio. So 60% chance for off and on downpours. It will be very streaky in nature. There will be those that have a lot of rain, maybe up to an inch, and then there will be those that miss out on the rainfall. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is for us in the forecast with these tropical systems. 90 degrees for the high today, so at least the extra cloud cover and a little bit of rain will keep our temperatures from soaring really high. So a welcome change there. A little bit better of a rain chance tomorrow, so we'll still have scattered tropical downpours, but with Hannah dissipating a little bit, that's going to allow us to have better shots at those outer bands. And then as we head into next week, our rain chances tapering off. It'll be hot again by the weekend.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. 650, 79 degrees out.
And fighting racism through reading and discussion. It's the goal of a new book club at a university right here in San Antonio. After the break, how you can get involved.
Good morning, happy Saturday, and welcome back. The Black Lives Matter protest now bringing together students and staff right here at a local university, right here at UTSA.
And they've created a book club to continue the discussion over racism and criminal justice reform. It's called the Racial Justice Book Club. Through readings and discussions, the book club will address issues of racism throughout history and will focus on what they need to do now to change the course of racism.
I think it is a mini form of activism. Like it requires you to kind of just check yourself every single day, like call out racism when you see it. We protest in peace!
Now this has just started, but already the book club has 60 members made up of students, staff, faculty, alumni, and donors. They've read one book so far, How to Be an Anti-Racist. Next month, they are reading a book called So You Want to Talk About Race. Book club members say they hope to share information about the books they're reading in a research guide on the university's library website. Time now, 6:55, 79 degrees out.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Good Morning America.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, coronavirus continues to surge across the country with hospitals straining under the pressure and the CDC releasing new guidelines for schools in a push to return to classrooms in the fall. Plus, the pandemic putting many families in financial despair with millions of Americans facing eviction after missed rent payments. The growing economic toll as lawmakers in Washington struggle to reach a deal on relief. And finally, sports are back and many athletes taking up activism now. Major League Baseball players joining the charge for social justice, and the WNBA athletes preparing to make a statement on the court this weekend. That's all ahead, coming up here on GMA.
Back here at home, in the news you need to know before you go, a crash on the north side ends with one person dead, 2 others injured. This was the scene just after 3 a.m. This is the 8100 block of Blanco. Police on the scene telling us the driver of the convertible speeding southbound rear-ended a white BMW. The driver of the black convertible died on impact. 2 people inside that BMW injured. Woman in the passenger seat taken to Northeast Baptist in stable condition. The driver treated on the scene didn't need to go to the hospital. Police say speed was a factor. Alcohol may have been. The investigation is ongoing.
Well, Hannah is now officially a hurricane. Hurricane hunters found that its winds have strengthened to 75 miles per hour. It's expected to make landfall south of Corpus Christi probably by the afternoon. What does that mean for us here in San Antonio? It means areas of rain, scattered showers and storms off and on both today and tomorrow. Highs will be right around 90 degrees because of the added clouds and the potential for rain there. Now, coming up in the 8 a.m. hour. We're going to have Justin Horn live from Corpus Christi. But for now, this is what you need to know. Scattered showers and storms possible for us in San Antonio. Biggest impacts will be well south. Hope you can join us again in an hour. I'll have updates during GMA.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll see you back here at 8 a.m.
As you can see, Hannah is the big national story. It is now strengthened. Breaking news to a Category 1 hurricane. Sustained winds of 75 miles per hour, gusts of up to 85 miles per hour. And as Rob mentioned, there's a hurricane warning from Aransas Pass pretty much all the way down to Laguna Madre there. That's where the storm is expected to make landfall south of Corpus Christi. But here in San Antonio, we'll just be getting the outer bands on and off again. Scattered showers and storms, a high near 90. Good Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Sarah Spivey. A pretty nice start for us here in San Antonio. We are seeing increasing clouds. It's 78 degrees and a little humid outside. Reason why we're seeing increasing cloud? Well, a big reason. We are looking at Hurricane Hannah now in the Gulf of Mexico, which is moving to the west at 9 miles per hour. It's expected to make landfall south of Corpus Christi. That's where we have a hurricane warning from Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre. Again, the storm is moving west at about 9 miles per hour, expected to make landfall in the early afternoon hours. Still as a Category 1 hurricane before continuing to bring a good amount of rain for the RGV, eventually dissipating over the Sierra Madres. What does that mean for us here in San Antonio? Well, today it means scattered showers and storms. There will be on and off again rain, times of sun even for us. So not a ton of rainfall for us through tomorrow evening. In San Antonio, maybe about an inch of rainfall in places. Breezy today, too.
Forecast.
Of course, the Texas coast is watching out for Hurricane Hannah, which will make landfall south of Corpus Christi later today, swinging bands of rain around to San Antonio. So here in San Antonio, we're not going to have any hurricane effects, but really just some rain, which is
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
A northside crash involving a convertible and 3 people turns deadly. We have the details from police and the latest conditions of everyone involved.
The storm in the Gulf has officially become a hurricane. Our meteorologist Sarah Spivey and Justin Horn will be keeping you updated on Hurricane Hannah and what we can expect.
And let's take a live look out at the Alamo City. 79 degrees to start your Saturday. What is the rest of the day? What does the weekend look like here at home? We're going to check in with Sarah in just a few moments. But until then, good morning. I'm Max Massey.
And I'm Sarah Costa. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. It is Saturday, July 25th.
It is Saturday. We had the last couple days off. It's our weekend. Were you able to go out and about, enjoy the sunshine while it is here?
You know, I did take one bike ride, 99 degrees yesterday. Stayed home and cooked a lot. But today, our temperatures, maybe we'll see some drop in them.
Yeah, we're probably going to get up to about 90 degrees today, which is a big, significant change, all because of clouds and a chance of rain sent over to us from what is now Hurricane Hannah. Hurricane Hannah in the Gulf of Mexico with sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. It's moving to the west at about 8 miles per hour. Expected to make landfall just south of Corpus Christi a little bit later today. You can see on these outer bands that we're even getting some showers starting to move toward Cuero and into Hallettsville and Karnes City right now. So these outer bands are what we're going to get later on in the day here in San Antonio as far as scattered showers and storms go. Of course, it's a different story for those along the coast, especially south of Corpus Christi. Near Baffin Bay, Hurricane Hannah is expected to make landfall a little bit later. This is a look at wind speeds. You can see tropical storm winds from Corpus Christi all the way down to Kingsville. Even hurricane strength winds possible there as Hannah makes landfall probably in the early afternoon. Eventually, Hannah is going to dissipate as it moves over toward the Sierra Madres by tomorrow in the evening hours. But what does that mean for us here in San Antonio? Well, it means a few scattered showers and storms. Like I said, the main story right now is near Corpus Christi, south of Corpus Christi into Laguna Madre. That's where we had that hurricane warning. Our very own Justin Horn is out there as he's reported that the winds have started to pick up as you've seen some squalls from those outer bands starting to move on shore there. Justin?
Yeah, Sarah, you're exactly right. We got a squall coming through right now. The wind has picked up. We probably saw a gust up maybe up to about 40 miles per hour. The rain's coming coming down at a pretty good clip. We've been watching the ocean pretty closely. Waves are getting bigger and bigger. And right behind me here, they're actually moving what was once a lifeguard stand here that this morning was sort of floating out in the water there. But crews are bringing that back in and bringing some of the debris that has been washed up from these big waves. We're obviously getting more of a northeasterly wind here, just based on where we are relative to the storm. Also, we're told there's a seawall pretty close to where we are right now, and we're told the waves are breaking up and over that seawall. Not surprising, as Hannah's getting a little bit closer, and you mentioned now hurricane strength. We're expecting to see these winds pick up a little bit more here in the next couple of hours, and we could see some bigger gusts. But right now, it's just some squalls moving through, occasional gusty winds, just like you're looking at right now. But we're going to continue to monitor this. We'll have the latest from here in Corpus Christi. We're on Padre Island right now, and we'll bring you the latest coming up here a little bit later. Sarah, let's toss it back to you.
Well, thank you, Justin. Well, new this morning, a man speeding down a northside street dies after crashing into another car. That's what police say happened just after 3 this morning in the 8100 block of Blanco Road. Officers tell us the driver of a black convertible died on impact after rear-ending a white BMW. The other 2 people were hurt but are both expected to recover. Police believe speed played a factor in the crash. They are investigating if alcohol was also involved.
And here in Bexar County, new positive cases of COVID-19 continue to come in the hundreds, almost 300 new cases, bringing the total here to 34,932 cases since this pandemic started. But it's the death toll that's truly startling this morning. Let's take a look at the latest numbers. 299 new cases, 15 new deaths in our community. This brings the death toll to 313. Some good news, though. The hospitalization rate appears to have decreased. 1,059 people in the hospital, 430 people in the ICU, 294 on ventilators. Staffed hospital beds availability, 11%.
Well, there are 6 different types of COVID-19, all with varying degrees of symptoms and severity. That's according to a study from King's College in London. Although the discovery seems daunting, researchers say it could help doctors predict earlier on which patients are most at risk and likely to be hospitalized based on their symptoms. You can read more about these different types of the virus and the probability for each one needing hospitalization right now on KSAT.com.
Large gatherings around independent youth sports teams have local leaders worried. The mayor and the county judge now asking to get more local authority to regulate these kinds of events. But the president of the Texas Youth Football and Cheer Association says they're taking measures to limit transmission of the disease. They include having all volunteers wear masks and checking the temperature of safety officers. Now, the president also says a lot of parents are opting to sit out this season.
We've highly recommended that parents, drop off their kids and remain in their cars. If they can't remain in their cars because they want to keep an eye on their child on the field, then when they're around the field, to make sure that they keep proper distance from the other parents.
Brian Morgan says the association would be willing to sit down and listen to Mayor Ron Neuberg's concerns, but Morgan also adds the city has not reached out to them yet.
Well, speaking of the upcoming school year, we want to let San Antonio teachers know that HEB has a new coupon to save up to $50 off school and office supplies. Teachers who register before midnight on August 27th will get a 15% off coupon via email. They can register at heb.com/teachers. Coupons will be redeemable through September 1st at HEB stores. For more information on how to register, you can visit ksat.com under the News tab. Well, whether students are gearing up for in-person or remote learning, school supplies are an essential item to ensure they're prepared for instruction. However, due to the negative effects of COVID-19 on the economy, some families may be struggling to buy basic school supplies for their children. This morning, District 3 is helping bridge that gap by hosting their annual back-to-school fair. Our very own Alicia Barrera is live from Mission Library with more. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning. Well, a lot of families are in dire need right now of any type of help, but especially with school supplies. Sarah, you mentioned it. The economy factor has been obviously negative for these families. So you can just see already so many people lined up here this morning. The event doesn't start until 9 a.m. and already a packed house here. So I want to show you what exactly they're going to be handing out here at this back to school fair. And it is a drive-through event. So they'll be getting colorful backpacks like these. They gave me this example, this pretty blue one, and inside you'll find things like your notebook. They have also some pencils and crayons, and then some hand sanitizers were also donated. That way the kids can clip it onto their backpacks and have it, whether they're going back to an in-person setting or staying at home and doing remote learning. So on your screen, I want to have you take a look at the address. So again, this is happening at Mission Library, but the thing is that you want to enter through VFW Boulevard, closest to South Presa Street. And again, this starts at 9 a.m. and goes on until 1 p.m. And some things to note, if you plan on coming here, these supplies are first come, first serve, and passengers are all asked to wear their mask. You must wear a mask here, and you're asked to also pop your trunk or unlock your doors. That way, this drive-through event, it's contactless, and they can just place that backpack and those supplies in the back of your trunk or in your back seat. Reporting live, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Time now, 8:08, 79 degrees out.
We've all heard rumors about the show Paw Patrol being canceled, but is it happening after all? We will have the latest still ahead on GMSA.
And it is Saturday. That means we are talking Texas Eats. We're going to check in with David Elder and see what he is cooking up right after the break. Ooh, that looks good.
But first, let's take a look outside with live cam. 79 degrees. The sun is peeping through some of those clouds this morning. Our very own Sarah Spivey will be coming up next about your weekend forecast, and our meteorologist Justin Horn will also give us more updates throughout the morning.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Saturday, 8:12 this morning. It is Saturday. We are talking Texas Eats, and we are checking in with our own David Elder. You can watch the full segment today, 10 a.m., right after our show. You got to watch all of us first, and then 11 tonight.
I like that. Watch us first, and then David
We're the
Elder.
appetizer.
We are. Well, in this clip, David Elder is hanging out at Blackboard Barbecue to try out their many smoked meats and desserts.
This feels like something that Disneyland would want to recreate, like, you know what I mean, to like create that vibe, like, oh, Texas Hill Country, we'll make something like this.
You couldn't recreate this, you know, that's kind of the point. I mean, this is a one-of deal, like this feel and this vibe, and that's before we even get to the food, to the smoke, right?
Right in front of us.
Yeah.
This is why Texas barbecue is Texas barbecue.
You know, Texas, hugely brisket forward. Brisket is king, right? So we wanted to take that to another level. I think Wagyu should be in everybody's face that's coming out of the great state of Texas, whether it's off the smoker or off the grill or off a flat top burger, whatever it is. It's just, I'm so proud of the meat and so proud that it's from Texas, and it really works for us. It's something that's really come to define us. It translates phenomenally on the smoker as far as the process. It's intense, absorbs so much great flavor right from the smoke. I'm harvesting my own wood on the property. That's right, I cut my own live oak down before I smoke the meat. That's how hardcore we are. My smoker is an old oiler smoker that was built up in Mesquite, Texas in 1976. She's been putting the stink on it almost as long as I've been breathing air. I mean, it's like your mama's best cast iron skillet inside there. Right. So I can only take a little bit of the credit. She does all the work.
See, I love these segments. It also is infuriating that my mouth is watering at 8:14 in the morning.
I know. One of my neighbors was smoking brisket, and I could definitely smell it because the winds were kind of starting to pick up last night.
Yeah. It was quite breezy yesterday, and it's going to be breezy again today because we're going to be seeing the outer bands of what is now Hurricane Hannah. Hurricane Hannah is currently in the Gulf of Mexico, moving to the west at about 8 miles per hour. It has sustained winds of 75 miles per hour with gusts up to 85. Now that's in a concentrated area close to the center there of the storm, but you can see that a lot of areas around the Texas coast are dealing with these squall lines here from these outer bands around Hannah. Much of the coast is under either tropical storm warnings or hurricane warnings. The main bullseye right now, the hurricane warnings that go from Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre. They include Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, Rockport, although it does look like Hannah is going to make landfall south of Corpus Christi near Baffin Bay there. Thankfully, that area happens to be a low population area, which is where you want a hurricane to hit if a hurricane is going to hit. Now, of course, there are lots of places along the coast that are preparing for storm surge and a lot of flooding as well. That area of flooding includes the RGV. The Rio Grande Valley could see in some places pockets of up to 10 inches of rainfall from Hannah. Hannah is expected to make landfall today, probably in the afternoon, the early afternoon, with winds about 80 miles per hour or greater. That's sustained winds. Gusts could be even greater than that. Hannah is then going to work through the RGV as a Category 1 hurricane before falling apart, probably late tonight, back to a tropical storm. And then tomorrow, it'll dissipate over the Sierra Madres. It'll run into those mountains and then just fall apart. Now, Hannah is pretty wound up, and so when hurricanes are wound up, they don't send those rain bands too far out. Now today, we are probably going to see one or two of those rain bands moving through San Antonio. Quick tropical downpours, no severe weather expected for us here in San Antonio, and just some hopefully healthy rain for a few locations. So again, this is a look at this afternoon. Hannah's still going to be very wound up, but as it starts to fall apart, especially tomorrow, we're more likely to see even more of those rain bands moving in, which is good news. We need the rain here in San Antonio. We're under drought conditions. We could really use some rain. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like everybody is going to see rainfall. As is the case with these tropical systems, there will be the haves and there will be the have-nots. Areas south of Corpus Christi could see more than 5 inches of rain. Meanwhile, here near San Antonio, a few areas will get those quick tropical scattered downpours. So maybe by the end of Sunday evening, we could see nearly an inch of rain in some places. So widely scattered, but the possibility is there. Right now outside in San Antonio, it's pretty nice out there. We have got a nice sunrise there. It's mostly cloudy skies, but the clouds are increasing. We're going to have mostly cloudy skies with a few peaks of sunshine throughout the day. It's muggy, it's humid outside, and it's a little breezy. Winds are from the northeast at 15 miles per hour, and we will have the possibility to see wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour here in San Antonio, all because of Hannah. So it is going to be a bit of a breezy day, but a fairly normal day for us. It's those along the coast that really have to watch out for the dangerous conditions from Hannah. You can see some of those rain bands already raining pretty good right now in Hallettsville and in Cuero. These are going to continue to move west. So again, in San Antonio, we will get a shot at some of these quick tropical downpours. Today's forecast looks like this, warming up to only 90 degrees because of the added cloud cover and on and off again rainfall. A 60% chance for those scattered showers and storms, mostly cloudy skies. Breezy winds from the northeast at 15 to 25, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. And as we head into the evening, we'll probably see some of that rain taper off a little bit. But look, tomorrow, an even better chance for scattered showers and storms, about 70%. Then as we head into the week, we're going to see our rain chances gradually taper off. Heat return by Friday. It'll be hot and sunny outside. Now, coming up in the next half hour, meteorologist Justin Horn is going to talk to us live from Corpus Christi.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. Time now 8:18, 79 degrees out.
Well, it's summertime here in the northern hemisphere of Earth, but we're not the only planets with seasons. Still ahead, we take a look at what summer looks like in Saturn.
And is the show Paw Patrol being canceled after all? We have the latest on the show's future right after the break. Good morning, welcome back, and happy weekend. Despite many calls for cancellation, the show Paw Patrol not going anywhere.
Many on social media have asked for the show's cancellation due to the positive portrayal of the police in wake of the nationwide protest of racial injustice and police brutality. According to a post on the TV show's Twitter page, the Paw Patrol pups are here to stay.
The tweet appears to be a response to a comment made by the White House press secretary during Friday's White House briefing about the quote-unquote cancel culture, specifically as it pertained to police officers. But have no fear, Paw Patrol is here You actually said that your little pup loves Paw Patrol.
He does, Scooby. I would put it on for him when I would leave in the mornings.
You put it on for him?
He requested it.
There you go. You were singing the theme song this morning. 8:23, 79 degrees out.
Guilty of that. Okay, this morning, Hubble telescope is giving us a closer look of Saturn. How our sibling planet looks in the summertime, we'll show you that next. Welcome back. It's 8:26. Have you ever wondered what summertime looks like on Saturn?
I have not, but if you do, you're in luck because this morning we are getting a closer look. NASA releasing this image on Thursday. The Hubble Space Telescope actually taking the photo on the 4th of July.
NASA says just like Earth, Saturn goes through seasons, and this is what summer looks like in the northern hemisphere. It's a pretty clear photo for a planet that's 839 million miles away from Earth.
I thought it was going to be inside the planet.
You wanted those like...
I wanted to see like the trees and...
839 million miles away, man.
It's very cool, but I see no trees.
Darn.
I'm now 8:27, 79 degrees out.
Tensions between the United States and China may have TikTok in danger in the U.S. Still ahead on GMSA, what the solution could be for the use of the app.
And San Antonio police trying to figure out whether 2 drive-by shootings on the east side are connected. What investigators are telling us right after the break. Good morning, welcome back, and thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Max Massey.
And I'm Sarah Costa. It's Saturday, July 25th.
Can't believe, I feel like the months have gone by differently for so many people. For me, I was saying, wow, this month flew by. You were saying it was snail's pace.
Yeah, it's been crawling because it's been so hot. I mean, we had like the triple digits, and I'm hoping today, Sarah, it's going to start cooling down because of the weather going on the coast.
Absolutely, Sarah, you're right. There is Hurricane Hannah currently in the Gulf of Mexico. It's a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds of 75 miles per hour and gusts of up to 85 miles per hour. It's moving to the west at about 9 miles per hour, expected to make landfall early this afternoon, right around probably a little bit after lunch, as a Category 1 hurricane near Baffin Bay, which is south of Corpus Christi, kind of right along Padre Island there. You can see how dynamic this system is, and it's swinging those outer rain bands our way towards San Antonio. In fact, some locations around the KSAT 12 viewing area are seeing some showers. That includes areas in near Cuero, Karnes County, and even Gonzales seeing a little bit of rain at the moment. So we are going to continue to monitor Hurricane Hannah. In fact, take a look at these wave heights around Hannah. It just shows you how powerful these systems are. Near the center there, 20-foot waves. Just off of the coast there of Corpus Christi and Padre Island, 11-foot waves. And again, I'll take you through the track here. This is a look at the potential wind speeds. Anywhere you see this yellow, that's wind of up to 74 miles per hour. The little areas of orange that you see are Category 1 hurricane speeds. Again, Hannah is expected to make landfall south of Corpus Christi near Baffin Bay later this afternoon before it eventually dissipates across the Sierra Madres by Sunday afternoon. So what does that mean for our weather here in San Antonio? Well, we'll continue to see those bands of rain showers. We're going to be looking at off and on again rain showers over the next few days. Highs will be a little bit cooler. Highs will be near 90 degrees. Even tonight we could see again some showers and a few storms as well. No severe weather expected in San Antonio, but coming up, I'll refine this forecast a little bit, tell you how much rain we can expect locally around San Antonio this weekend, and we'll have meteorologist Justin Horn, who is live on Padre Island as conditions there are worsening ahead of Hannah's arrival.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, new this morning, San Antonio police are investigating 2 overnight drive-by shootings on the city's east side. The first one happened just after 1:30 this morning in the 300 block of San Salvador. Police tell us a driver of a dark-colored SUV started shooting at a man standing in front of a home before driving away. The victim was shot in the chest and was taken to BAMC. Police say he's expected to recover.
And the second drive-by shooting happening about an hour later, just a few blocks away from the first one. Officers tell us a driver in a gray Cadillac drove up to a home in the 900 block of Hammond Avenue, started firing more than 20 gunshots. Police on the scene say one person in front of the home was shot in the arm. Another person in the home next door hit with shrapnel. Right now, investigators still working to determine if these 2 shootings are connected, still searching for those responsible. The governor's office now issuing a statement regarding SNAP benefit recipients who are up for renewal in July and August, and they're now saying that those recipients will have an automatic extension. The Texas Health and Human Services Commission received federal authorization to extend SNAP benefits by 6 months. Also, they will be waiving the interview requirements for new and current households. This change could affect around 276,000 households around the Lone Star State.
Well, Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner took time this week to visit and thank the staff of one of the 2 COVID-19 testing sites. The site was established by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. It is operated by New York healthcare workers and public health experts. The 2 sites are part of Governor Cuomo's work to help cities that provided assistance when New York had their spike in COVID-19 cases.
And also taking a look around the state, Austin's new alternative care site. It's set up at the Austin Convention Center. City officials say this location will be used if hospitals in their area get overwhelmed with COVID patients. Right now, it's set up for 100 patients. But get this, it can house as many as 1,500 people. Staff for the site will come from Travis County Medical Society and various staffing agencies.
Well, some good news regarding COVID-19 testing this morning. The Food and Drug Administration has authorized a test that can be used on anyone, including people without symptoms. The FDA issued an emergency use authorization for a LabCorp test after it proved it could detect the virus in asymptomatic people. The company says it can test samples of up to 5 swabs at a time, saving resources. The FDA says this could be a game changer in reopening schools and businesses. And although in many ways the school year may seem a little uncertain still for some families, one thing is for sure, students still need to be prepared with school supplies.
Now more than ever, families are struggling with that loss of income, making back-to-school events essential. Alicia Abrera joining us live from Mission Library for the 8th annual Back-to-School Drive-Through Fair, hosted by Councilwoman Rebecca Villagran. Alicia?
Good morning. Yeah, this event is hosted by her staff as well as volunteers. And let me tell you, they were screened before they got here. They are required to wear masks as well as gloves in order to hand out these backpacks and school supplies to families and the kids. But with me, Councilwoman Rebecca Villagran herself. Why was it so important for you to keep this event going, the 8th year, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah, it was very important because we needed to make sure that we provided for our community. Things are very, very different right now, and what we wanted to make sure was that we still provided, that we gave some sort of normalcy because we did this every year, and to again, even pre-pandemic, we knew that cost for school supplies could be a burden. So we wanted to make sure that we provided these school supplies. If you're in person, if you're online, we want to make sure that the students have that documentation that they need.
So the kids are going to be receiving this backpack inside or some school supplies. We showed you earlier. I spoke to some parents and they say this is probably saving them about $50, $60. So crayons, pencils inside. What's the best way to enter if families want to come here today?
The best way to enter is through VFW Boulevard. That's where the entrance is going to be for the Mission Library. Some people are used to coming in on Roosevelt. We ask you to use VFW on the side. SAPD is here. We are here until supplies run out or 1 o'clock, but we are going to be here. We have a lot of great partners in this as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we'll be sticking around here at this back to school fair drive-through style on the south side. Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alicia. And your morning headlines, the GPS and wearable device company Garmin says they might have been hit by a ransomware attack after a widespread blackout. The company says the blackout left its fitness devices, website, and call centers offline for more than 24 hours. The Garmin app and the Garmin Pilot app, which pilots use to plan flight paths, also down. Tech news website ZDNet reports some employees say this outage connected to a wasted locker, a new strain of ransomware. However, there hasn't been any confirmation of a virus causing this outage. And a group of American investors could step in and save TikTok, at least save it here in the United States. The group is thinking about buying a majority stake from TikTok's Chinese parent company. Venture capital firms Sequoia and General Atlantic reportedly part of this effort. That's according to the information and the Financial Times. Now, the group is reportedly talking with the U.S. Treasury Department and other regulators about whether a spin-off of TikTok would put an end to the United States' concerns. However, TikTok declined to comment on Thursday about a possible sale to United States investors. And last but certainly not least, NASA and SpaceX working on their next big launch. It would be SpaceX's first operational launch of astronauts. 3 American astronauts would join a Japanese astronaut on the mission to the International Space Station. The crew will man the first fully operational flight of SpaceX's Crew Dragon. NASA and SpaceX planning for it to take place around mid to late September. So there you go. At least someone's taking advantage of 2020.
Get it done, 2020.
There you go. 8:39, 79 degrees out.
Well, people who are divorced will tell you that marriage doesn't equal happiness. And now science is backing that up. Why researchers say happiness is more of a mindset than just a ring on your finger.
Interesting. And millions of people whiten their teeth either professionally or with over-the-counter products. But are the latest teeth whitening trends safe? We have the answers next.
But first, let's take a look outside with live cam. It's 8:40 and 79 degrees. Looks like there's a little overcast out there. When we come back, our Sarah Spivey will give you a full weekend forecast, also while tracking Hurricane Hannah.
Good morning. Welcome back and happy Saturday. This morning, we are talking about what is safe and what is not when it comes to whitening your teeth.
Do you whiten your teeth?
I'd brush my teeth.
Let me see. Clean teeth. Well, let's start with charcoal. It's one of the latest trends to whiten your teeth, but does it do more harm than good?
If you overbrush with charcoal, it can actually have an opposite effect on the teeth. It can actually be a detriment to the teeth.
What about LED activated teeth whitening systems? Turns out it could take 5 times as long as a dentist provided whitening will take. And when it comes to over-the-counter whitening kits, some of them can lead to sensitivity.
And have you heard of using carbonated water to brighten your smile? I had not, but it turns out it has a pH level high enough to demineralize tooth enamel and even cause erosion. So what is the safest way to whiten your teeth?
Most of the over-the-counter products you'll see are in the 10 to 15% range peroxide, and they will work over time. You don't want to overdo it.
And be sure to keep your mouth closed in the pool as well, because certain chemicals in chlorine give the water a higher pH than your saliva, which means the acidity. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Can cause sensitivity and developing brown tartar deposits on your teeth.
And speaking of white teeth, the woman with the whitest.
My goodness, thank you. But we are currently tracking Hurricane Hannah, which is moving to the west at about 8 to 9 miles per hour. It's got wind speeds of 75 miles per hour with gusts of up to 85 miles per hour. A Category 1 hurricane. It's expected to make landfall south of Corpus Christi, where there is a hurricane warning. There's a hurricane warning from Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre. And Hannah is expected to make landfall south of Corpus Christi, close to Baffin Bay by the early afternoon hours, but the South Texas coast is really starting to experience the gusty winds and the heavy rainfall at times. Our very own meteorologist Justin Horn is out there on Padre Island, and Justin, you're reporting the rain is coming at you sideways at times. What else you got to say for us?
Yeah, for sure. We just saw a squall move in here, and the wind's probably the strongest that we've seen so far this morning. Some very heavy rain came with that as well, and the storm surge is still there. We're still seeing these big waves bringing up some of this debris. And in fact, these cones here behind me are these barriers. They just moved them up a little bit because they want to be very safe about this as the storm surge does come up. The rain's going to start to pick up more, and Sarah, you can probably talk more about this here in just a second, but it looked to me, just looking at the latest radar, like the eye wall is trying to, or the eye itself is trying to dip a little bit farther to the south and west, which jives with what you were just saying about the path. It looks like we're going to sort of get grazed by the eye wall here, so probably not the strongest winds where we are in Corpus Christi, but you go down the coast, and those winds are certainly going to pick up more. Thankfully, it's less populated down there, so not as many structures or things like that. We have seen quite a few people out here walking around, a lot of residents sort of checking out, visitors still here. They stayed on the island. again, a little dangerous here, but most people hanging around is this looking to be a Category 1 hurricane. And winds right now, I'd say 40, maybe gusting to 50 miles per hour in some cases. We're going to continue to have live coverage here in Corpus as Hannah comes a little bit closer. And again, that eye wall getting a little bit closer to us at this hour, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Justin. And what he's talking about with the eye wall is just outside of the center of the storm. You can see the eye there, how it's fairly calm. There's an eye wall right outside with a lot of rain, and that's where the highest winds are within these storms, within tropical storms, or within the eye wall. You can see that the eye wall is still a little bit away from Padre Island there, but it's going to get even more windy out there where Justin is. Thankfully, like he said, he's a little bit north of where the highest winds will be. He's safe. He's an experienced hurricane hunter. He was actually out there in Corpus Christi when Hurricane Harvey landed in 2017. So again, this system not as strong as Harvey. It's a Category 1 hurricane, but still going to be making landfall near Baffin Bay early in the afternoon hours. Here in San Antonio, we're starting to see some of those outer bands east of San Antonio starting to make it a little bit further west. So areas like Gonzales, Cuero, Hallettsville, seeing some of these tropical downpours. There's no lightning with these. They're just times of heavy downpours, and that's what we'll be able to see here in San Antonio at times. So most of the day here, you may not see some rain, but then you'll see a passing heavy downpour at times, and that's going to be the case. It's going to be a different story, though, for those who are in the path of Hannah. A lot of rain there expected in the RGV. Hannah's going to make landfall, likely as a Category 1 hurricane early in the afternoon, bringing a good amount of rain to the Rio Grande Valley. In fact, too much of a good thing. A lot of flooding is expected there with some pockets of up to 7 to 10 inches of rain possible. Notice as we go further in time how streaky the rain will be around San Antonio. There are going to be the haves. There are going to be the have-nots. There's going to be people that see maybe up to an inch of rain in San Antonio. But then there's going to be those who really don't see that much, especially up in the hill country. So near an inch of rain for those of us around the Alamo City through Sunday. It's going to rain tomorrow, too, as Hannah dissipates over the Sierra Madres. We'll continue to see scattered showers and storms for your Sunday. But really, the main area of rain is going to be south of Corpus Christi. You can see Hannah here on the visible satellite, the very clear counterclockwise circulation of a hurricane there just outside of the coast of Corpus Christi. And in fact, it looks like we're seeing a little bit of a break in those clouds, which would be indicative of an eye. Here in San Antonio, the clouds are slowly starting to increase from Hannah, and we're at 79 degrees. Our temperatures today are going to be a lot cooler than the last few days. It's still going to be a warm day with a high near 90, but cooler than temperatures into the triple digits. We're also going to see breezy weather today. Winds will be from the northeast at about 15 to 25, gusting up to 30 miles per hour, even more windy down south toward the coast today. So scattered showers and storms from Hannah's outer bands, 60% chance of on and off again downpours. There will be times when you actually see the sun outside. It's not going to be a day where it's going to rain all day long. And once again, unfortunately, there will be some people that miss out on healthy rainfall. 90 degrees for the high, and again, a breezy day with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Looking at the weather tomorrow, a slightly better chance to see scattered showers and storms. High likely in the upper 80s, which is nice for July. And then as we head into the week, our rain chances are slowly going to taper off, and our thermometer is going to be going up. We'll be at 96 and pretty sunny on Friday. So we'll continue to keep track of Hannah. Justin's going to be live later on in the show from Corpus Christi as that eye wall continues to approach him.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. Time now 8:50, 79 degrees out.
Well, many people believe that marriage brings you lifelong happiness, but a new study is proving that it's not necessarily the case. Why researchers say single people can be just as happy.
Good morning and welcome back. So apparently being married doesn't necessarily bring you happiness.
Researchers from Michigan State University set out to find who was the happiest at the end of their lives and married, divorced, or single people. The study found that those who were considered lifelong singles, or those who moved in and out of relationships, were nearly as happy as those who were married.
My question is, when did they get this wedding video? Researchers say while marriage had a slight uptick in happiness, it wasn't substantial enough to make a difference. They concluded happiness is more about a mindset than a ring on the finger. Again, maybe they should update the video to like the 2000s. 8:54, 79 degrees out.
Well, easing for the burden for those severely affected by COVID-19. That's the goal of a local burger joint. Up next, how they're offering free meals for those in need.
Good morning and welcome back. 8:57 this Saturday morning. A San Antonio burger joint hoping to bring at least a little relief to those who are in need during this pandemic.
Chunky's Burgers is offering a free meal to help, quote, help ease the burden that the pandemic has caused a lot of people. The restaurant is located at 4602 Callahan Road. Anyone can request a free meal, which consists of a burger, fries, and a drink.
For more information and a look at the restaurant's new hours, just head to KSAT.com and search for Chunky's Burgers. It's so amazing to see members of our community step up and help out like this.
Absolutely.
Time now 8:57, 79 degrees out.
Still ahead on GMSA, we're staying on top of Hurricane Hannah as it makes its way towards the Texas coast. We'll check back in with our meteorologist Sarah Spivey and Justin Horn.
And arson investigators trying to figure out what exactly happened to cause flames at a home that had no electricity. We have the latest details next. A deadly crash this morning on the city's north side. We have the details of what police say happened and the latest conditions of those involved.
And we're tracking what is now officially Category 1 Hurricane Hannah. We have the latest from our weather team, Sarah Spivey in studio, and Justin Horn, who was live from Corpus Christi, keeping us up to date.
And back here at home, taking a live look out at the Alamo City. 82 degrees to start your Saturday morning. What is the rest of the day? What does the weekend look like? We're going to check in with Sarah and Justin in just a few moments. But for now, good morning. I'm Max Massey.
And I'm Sarah Costa. It's Saturday, July 25th. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for joining us. We have seen hot, heat, 100-degree day after 100-degree day. Sarah, you were telling us today we could see some relief.
Yeah, we could see a little bit of rain, all because of Hurricane Hannah. Now, Hurricane Hannah is going to cause a bit of a headache for those along the south coast of Texas here, from Corpus Christi all the way down to South Padre Island. It's a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds of 75 miles per hour, gusts of up to 85 miles per hour, and it's moving to the west at about 8 miles per hour. Expected to make landfall probably in the early afternoon, but something about these tropical systems that I want to talk about is the fact that landfall often, right before landfall, obviously, is this little eye wall here, which has the highest wind speeds. Now, our meteorologist Justin Horn is on Padre Island, south of Corpus Christi, where the eye wall is about to approach. But here, I can just sample some of these wind speeds from this eye wall to show you what he'll be dealing with out there and what our friends along the south coast will be dealing with. Some of these wind speeds are clocking in at least radar estimated velocities of about 50 miles per hour. So this storm is a real deal storm and is going to cause some issues for those mainly to the south of Corpus Christi, causing some storm surge along the coast of about 3 to 5 feet in some areas. Hurricane warnings from Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre. And as we continue to check in with Justin Horn, we often see those wind gusts starting to pick up from those squalls, and the eye wall is approaching. So I want to take a moment and go out to Justin Horn, who is live from Padre Island. Justin, are you seeing those winds pick up as that eye wall approaches?
Yeah, we've seen some bigger gusts just within the last 30 minutes or so, and it comes as these squalls come through, right? So when the squalls come through, we see the winds maybe gust up to about 50 miles per hour. But as you mentioned, the outer edge of that eye wall is getting a little bit closer. We're going to sort of get grazed by it here where we are, so I don't think winds will be as strong as they could be, and probably, well, certainly not as strong as they are going to be down to our south. But we are starting to see, again, the winds get a little bit stronger, and the storm surge has been here most of the morning. Storm surge 2 to 4 feet, I think, here, and we've got some of that debris starting to wash up as these waves get a little bit bigger and these winds continue to pick up. Some very heavy rain, too. You know, wind is a concern here, but it's not going to be a huge problem. I don't think we're going to see widespread damage. It's going to be the rainfall after this system moves on shore that I think may cause some bigger issues as far as flooding is concerned, especially across deep South Texas and areas maybe south and west of Corpus Christi. And as you mentioned, Sarah, we could certainly get some showers around San Antonio, around the outer bands and the edges of this system. We're going to continue to monitor it. We're going to be here as the eye wall gets a little bit closer. Just got a good gust there. And we'll continue to keep you updated. For now, we're going to toss it back to Max.
All right, thank you, Justin. Governor Greg Abbott telling Texans along the coast near where Justin is to stay alert and be prepared for this storm. In a statement, the governor said in part, quote, "I urge all those who are in the path of this storm to heed the warnings and guidance from local officials before the storm makes landfall. The state of Texas will coordinate with local officials to provide assistance and resources to the communities in the area," end quote.
Well, new this morning, a man speeding down a Northside street dies after crashing into another car. That's what police say happened just after 3 this morning in the 8100 block of Blanco Road. Officers tell us the driver of a black convertible died on impact after he rear-ended a white BMW. 2 other people were hurt, but both are expected to recover. Police believe speed played a factor in the crash and are investigating if alcohol was involved.
Also new this morning, arson investigators working to figure out what exactly led to flames in a home just north of downtown. Firefighters calling out to the 800 block of West French Place around 4:30 this morning. Firefighters on the scene tell us they arrived to flames on the right side of the home. No one was hurt. In fact, we're told no one was actually home at the time of the blaze. This home was undergoing remodeling, so there wasn't even electricity. Right now, investigators still working, trying to figure out how this all happened. Parents and caregivers, if your child needs school supplies but you're worried about the cost, head over to the city's Southside right now for a back-to-school fair.
District 3 Councilman Rebecca Villagran is hosting the 8th annual event to help ensure students are prepared with basic school supplies.
Alicia Abrera joined us live from Mission Library where the event just kicked off. Alicia?
Good morning. Well, if you're going to be headed down here, know that it runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. What you want to do is pop your trunk. That way volunteers can quickly put those bags in for your children or unlock your doors. That way they can place it in your back seat. Again, this is a contactless drive-through event. It's happening at Mission Library. And what you want to do is enter off of VFW Boulevard, closest to South Presa Street, because it is pretty backed up right now. And these are the things that the kids will be receiving. So I want to show you. It's going to be a colorful backpack. You'll let them know how many backpacks you need. Inside, you'll find some basic school supplies. We weighted these down. All right, so a hand sanitizer like this one that they can clip onto their backpack, a composition notebook, some pencils, also some crayons. And again, this is saving parents, they tell me, about $50 to $60 depending on the grade level, and it's helping them a lot. I spoke to one woman, she's a grandma, Miss Reyes, and she says that her son has been out of a job since April, so this to her is a huge help. Her grandson, I believe, is heading into middle school, so even though they're going to be doing remote learning, supplies like these are super important for families. So again, this is completely free, going on until 1 p.m. or until supplies last. And a good thing, we know because of COVID-19, masks will sometimes be required at schools. So District 3 Councilwoman Rebecca Villagran is also handing out some cool face masks for the kids to take back home or to take to school. So again, 9 to 1 p.m. If you're here, be sure to enter through the VFW Boulevard, so the back entrance of Mission Library. That way you can line up and get some supplies. Reporting live, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alicia. Time now 9:07, 82 degrees out.
The Texas Rangers had their home opener yesterday, still ahead on GMSA. The details of the game against the Colorado Rockies.
We are talking Spurs, Rangers, and of course this guy, David Elder. We have Texas Eats. He is going to give us a sample of some purple pig and a sneak peek at Texas Eats. That looks so good.
What's purple pig?
I don't know. You got to stay tuned to find out.
That is.
Boom. Perfect tease.
Taking a look outside with live cam. It's 82 degrees, 9:08. You can actually hear the wind picking up in Alicia's live shot. So maybe you're going to be experiencing some gusts out there. Our Sarah Spivey will let us know more about that when we come back.
We're now here with Demetric Heron. He is the co-owner and pitmaster out here at the Purple Pig Barbecue Food Truck.
We started about 4 years ago here on Fort Sam, Houston. Actually, we started off in a 10 by 20 tent right here in the same location.
That's so cool. To go from a tent to a trailer to a food truck, now you have this Purple Pig empire that you're going, right?
26 years United States Army.
Ooh, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
That's a long time. 26 years doing anything is a long time, but military, that's great. And thank you so much. And your wife as well?
Yes, retired? Yeah, my wife is retired Air Force.
Now you're just giving back to the community that you were a part of.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
Well, our business is a family-owned business. Myself, my wife, and my sons and my daughter. Well, we do a Midwest-style barbecue with a Texas twist. What our specialty is rib tips. Nice, tasty piece of meat from the end of the rib.
So these are the piggy tips that you can get out here at the Purple Pig Barbecue food truck. Now check this out. I'm actually coming prepared. I got a fork in my pocket. So you said this is the end of a rib. Got some of the fat on there. You got some barbecue sauce. Is this a special house-made barbecue sauce as well?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited. Don't mind me. I'm just going to go in for it. That's incredible. All right. That's real good. It's everything you love about a rib, but put into a really bite-sized, edible version. You don't have to worry about the bone. I love that.
Ooh.
I was just thinking, how does he not spill on his nice shirt? Because that's all I would be thinking about eating barbecue.
You know it's good when he does the walk-off. When he takes a bite.
It's almost like a mic drop. Like,
exactly.
This is just too good.
Speaking of mic drops, Sarah, you have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about in the forecast. Hurricane Hannah is currently working its way toward the South Texas coast there along Laguna Madre, likely going to make landfall somewhere around Baffin Bay, which is south of Corpus Christi, early this morning. Currently, Hannah is a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour, gusts of up to 85 miles per hour. It's moving gradually to the west at about 8 miles per hour. You can see that a good portion of the Texas coast is either under tropical storm warnings or hurricane warnings. The area that's under a hurricane warning for winds potentially with Hannah up to 80 miles per hour and gusts even higher than that is going to be from Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre. Again, it's going to move to the west, and so it probably is going to make landfall somewhere along Baffin Bay or at least near Baffin Bay in Laguna Madre area. That's where that hurricane warning is. So a good portion of South Texas is bracing for Hurricane Hannah. Now, Hannah is really going to produce a bunch of rain for the Rio Grande Valley and areas south of Corpus Christi, along the lines of some places of up to 7 to 10 inches of rainfall in pockets. So very dangerous system as far as flooding is concerned, but it'll make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. As it moves across the RGV, it'll weaken slightly but still maintain its hurricane strength and eventually becoming a tropical storm as it heads into Mexico early tomorrow morning, eventually dissipating over the Sierra Madres. It'll hit the Sierra Madres, pretty much acting like a wall and shutting off that system. But what does that mean for us here in San Antonio? Well, we're going to see the outer bands of Hannah throughout the day. We'll have on and off again scattered showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder as well. But the key word there is on and off again. There's going to be a good portion of the day where it will not be raining where you are. So keep that in mind. And Hannah is fairly organized. So when these systems are organized, they're really wound up and they keep a lot of their rain around that center. However, tomorrow, as Hannah dissipates, we'll start to see more rounds of rainfall as that storm weakens, still sending tropical rain our way. This is tomorrow morning at around 10 o'clock in the morning. So today we're going to go for about a 60% chance for scattered showers and storms. Tomorrow, 70% chance. And again, off and on again. Unfortunately, with tropical storms and systems like Hannah, there are the haves and the have-nots when it comes to rainfall. A lot of rain in the RGV and south of Corpus Christi. Not a ton here. If we get some rain, some places we'll get about an inch of rainfall through Sunday evening, and again, it'll be on and off again. Right now outside, we are seeing clouds increase. It's 82 degrees, and it's humid outside. You can see those clouds really well defined around Hannah, and then those clouds are starting to increase near San Antonio. It's in the low 80s right now. We're probably going to stay in the 80s for the vast majority of the day because of the added cloud cover. It's also very breezy out there. We've got winds from the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. Today we'll be able to see gusts of up to 30 miles per hour. Of course, they'll have tropical winds and hurricane strength winds down south toward Hannah today. But here in San Antonio, we'll just see some gusty breezes. Here comes that first round of rain right now, ongoing near Gonzales and Hallettsville. Just some quick downpours, no lightning with this, no severe weather expected in San Antonio. So as we head into the late morning hours and early afternoon, we'll continue to see some pockets of rainfall at times. So that's what the forecast looks like. 40 to 60% chance of scattered showers and storms. Again, there will be people who just don't see much rain over this weekend, and then there will be some that see up to about an inch. 90 degrees for the high temperature, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. So those clouds at least helping us stay a little cooler than the last few days because of Hannah. And we'll see a better chance for rain tomorrow, highs in the upper 80s, and then cranking up the heat again by the end of the week. Max, Sarah?
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. 9:17, 82 degrees out.
High school senior is achieving his goals, still ahead on GMSA. We have his story and why crossing the graduation stage is a challenge he is determined to overcome.
And we are talking sports. Baseball is back. We have the Astros and the Rangers scores, little highlights from last night, and of course, we are talking Spurs. It's only scrimmages, but it's still fun to see.
First, let's take a look at our lotto numbers. Pick 3, 1, 8, 7. Fireball 1, Daily 4, 8, 2, 8, 9, Fireball 0.
And your cash 5, 9, 16, 17, 18, 29. Mega Millions 8, 33, 39, 54, 58. Big number 17, Mega Pyre 3. Good luck. We'll be right back. Good morning, welcome back, and happy Saturday. We are all smiles. We have so many sports to talk about. Let's start with the Spurs back in action. This comes after the first scrimmage when they took on the Bucks. They took on Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reigning MVP and the possible two-time MVP. Right now is really about getting those young guys involved. You got Lonnie Walker, you got Keldon Johnson, and the Spurs will be taking the court again this afternoon for their second scrimmage in the bubble. This time they are facing off against the Brooklyn Nets. Not exactly the Milwaukee Bucks. Spurs head coach Greg Popovich living through COVID just like the rest of us, but remember, he's 71 years old, so that classifies him as higher risk. Pop was asked how his experience has prepared him to coach in this environment.
I do it just like you do. None of us has an answer to why. Things go on in our lives all the time that are unexpected and that have to be dealt with. This is another one of those. Obviously a bit more dramatic, a little bit more dangerous, and very disruptive. But there's only one choice, and that's to deal with it, to handle it, to be wise about it, try to make the best of it, and move on.
And we can't talk sports right now without talking baseball. Baseball is back, and we have two Texas teams, two Texas winning records. We're going to get that in a second. The Rangers home opener in their brand new stadium in Arlington yesterday. No fans in the crowd, but we had plenty of cardboard cutouts. Rangers hosting the Colorado Rockies. In the end, all it took was one run for the Rangers to come out on top. Their first home opener shutout since 2007. And can't talk baseball without talking about the Astros playing for the first time as well last night. Their home opener taking on the Seattle Mariners, and the Astros coming out swinging, literally. Also making a big splash. They came out on top 8-2. So there it is, Sarah. Both Texas teams undefeated to start the season. Remember, this season only 60 games, and it feels good. You got one out of the way, just 59 to go.
Okay, my new favorite hobby is looking at the cutouts. Just like, wait, who was that?
Maybe there's a Sarah Acosta cutout in the crowd.
I mean, whoever did it definitely has a sense of humor.
Time now, 9:23, 82 degrees out.
Well, challenge accepted. That's what a high school senior said about being able to cross the stage on graduation. The reason is coming up next on GMSA. Welcome back. It's 9:26. Now check this out. An 18-year-old high school student who's a senior from Missouri has cerebral palsy, but that has not stopped Danny Oakes from living life one goal at a time.
His biggest goal so far, walk across the graduation stage without crutches. May 8th was technically his deadline, but in this pandemic, it was actually moved to July 31st, giving Danny more time. He says he wants to walk across the stage because his whole life, when asked if he could walk without crutches, he would always answer someday. But why make someday? Why not make it now?
So he's working hard to achieve his goal. He says the only disability in life is a bad attitude and the way you look at things. Way to go, Danny. I love stories like that.
We are rooting for you, Danny. Time now, 9:27, 82 degrees out.
Still ahead on GMSA, we have the latest COVID-19 numbers and cases in Bexar County and the new guidelines the CDC is implementing on schools reopening.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy weekend. I'm Max Massey.
I'm Sarah Costa. It is Saturday, July 25th.
It is the end of July. It is Saturday. We have seen 100-degree day after 100-degree day. I got outside, got a little sun yesterday, and good thing I did, because Sarah, you're saying that might not have that much sun today.
Not a ton of sun today because of clouds from Hurricane Hannah, which is currently working its way to make landfall later on today south of Corpus Christi near Baffin Bay. Hurricane Hannah currently has wind speeds of 75 miles per hour with gusts up to 85 miles per hour. Those winds of 75 miles per hour make this a Category 1 hurricane. Again, moving to the west at about 7 miles per hour, so it's slowly inching to the west. It is going to stay well south of San Antonio, but all along the Texas coast, there are tropical storm and hurricane warnings. The main area of focus today is within the hurricane warnings. That is from Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre. That is for wind speeds, hurricane wind speeds currently seeing 74 miles per hour, could get up to 80 miles per hour as it approaches to make landfall. Notice that on these outer islands here, like Padre Island, they're getting close to the eye wall, and the eye wall is where the highest winds are. So our meteorologist Justin Horn is actually on Padre Island just to the south of Corpus Christi, and he's going to be experiencing those winds shortly. Thankfully, he's out of the area of the heart of the storm, which again is going to be south of Corpus Christi, closer to Baffin Bay. You can see those clouds very clearly around that center of low, which is Hurricane Hannah, and those clouds are starting to spread closer to San Antonio. So we're going to have a mostly cloudy day here, and temperatures are we're going to like that in San Antonio because we won't be seeing 100 degrees. We'll be seeing a high temperature more likely near 80 degrees this afternoon. And we'll have a shot at rain from Hannah. Right now, Hannah is really wound up, and whenever these hurricanes are really wound up, the rainfall is concentrated. But on the outer bands, we do get some showers, and we're currently seeing some showers near Gonzales and near Hallettsville, as well as Karnes City. These are going to continue to drift westward towards San Antonio, so we will have the opportunity to see scattered showers and storms today. No lightning with these, and no severe weather is expected today, but lightning could occur later on in the day, so there's a 60% chance for your Saturday for on and off again storms, and on Sunday about a better chance, 70% chance for on and off again storms, and that's because Hannah's going to fall apart, lose that wound up system that it's at currently, and swing us a little bit more of a chance for some rain. But all in all, a welcome change here in San Antonio. Of course, we're continuing to monitor Hannah, though, and coming up, meteorologist Justin Horn is going to be live from North Padre Island with the latest of what's going on there. I'll also have a look at rainfall totals around San Antonio. Max?
Thank you, Sarah. We want to bring you to late-breaking news on the city's south side. Police responding to a call for what appears to be a plane crash just south of Stinson.
That's right. Our Alicia Barretta just arrived on scene. Alicia, what can you tell us at this point?
All right, Sarah, Max, you're seeing the scene here. We're located on the 9400 block of Espada Road, just a few feet from Stinson Municipal Airport, and you can see all the action. Helicopter up and running. Firefighters are arriving by the dozen, really. And what we know now is that there was a plane crash that happened here on Espada Road. Initially, we were hearing reports that it actually happened on the property of Stinson Municipal Airport, but we have just found out that that's not the case. It actually landed right behind a residence. Again, a lot of ambulances, police, fire trucks out here. No word yet. We have not been able to speak to SAPD, as this is their scene. They're investigating right now. Barely responding to the call. This just happened probably about 10 minutes ago. That's when we got word, and we were just down the street. So as far as we know right now, plane crash off of Espada Road, 9400 block. Again, ambulances making their way over down south over here. And again, we're waiting to find out if any injuries, but we'll of course stay here on the scene to keep you updated, as well as KSAT.com to bring you the latest. Reporting live from the city's south side, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alicia. And we have the latest confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in Bexar County. Almost 300 new cases reporting in our local leadership's briefing,
bringing the total of confirmed cases in Bexar County to 34,932 since the pandemic started. Let's take a look at those numbers. There are 299 new cases and 15 new deaths in the community. That brings the death toll to 313 people. Mayor Ron Nierenberg also announced the hospitalization rate has decreased.
1,059 people in the hospital right now, 430 of them in the ICU, 294 of them on ventilators. And at last check, the staffed hospitalization beds, they're available at 11%.
Well, San Antonio cumbia singer has lost his life after complications from COVID-19. 46-year-old Ernesto Cortez was a singer for Onda Caliente. The band posted a message from Cortez's daughter yesterday saying he passed from cardiac arrest. The singer had been at Baptist Hospital since June 18th. His family says his symptoms began with a fever, then developed into a bad cough.
And this morning, San Antonio Independent School District mourning the loss of one of their elementary school teachers. Carmen Canales taught at Ogden Academy since 2017. She passed away this week after battling COVID-19. District officials tell us she tested positive for the coronavirus this summer. She had been hospitalized. The district plans to honor her when school comes back in session. They will be offering counseling for her coworkers. Canales was 48 years old.
Well, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control Prevention issued new guidelines aimed at helping schools reopen. The CDC guidelines include maintaining a healthy environment, maintaining a healthy environment, develop a plan if a student or staff member tests positive for COVID-19, and maintain contact with state and local health departments. Luke Amplet is a San Antonio teacher at Burbank High School who believes it's too soon for face-to-face learning. He says education should not come before health.
Every educator's first duty is to protect human life and keep our students safe. We have to keep them safe and we have to keep them alive.
The CDC adds if community transmission is not decreasing, school closures should be considered and virtual learning continued.
In your morning headlines this morning, the United States not only bracing for Hurricane Hannah, Hurricane Douglas expected to make landfall in Hawaii today. The National Weather Service says Douglas is currently a Category 2, but should weaken before reaching Hawaii. It'll bring strong winds, heavy rainfall, and dangerous surf. Authorities in Honolulu preparing extra shelter space just so people can maintain physical distancing from each other. And right now, we have shrimp, fish, and first-century artifacts. One of these things, not like the other, but this is what was found at a seafood store in Spain. After the break, why the store's owners might now be in some hot water.
But first, let's take a look outside with live cam. 82 degrees. You can see it's overcast out there. Our Sarah Spivey will let us know about our weekend forecast when we come back. Welcome back. Fish and artifacts all in one place, plus girl power on the high seas.
And a house that isn't just at the end of the rainbow. It is the rainbow. CNN's Britt Conway has all of this in today's Take a Look at This.
I'll have a pound of shrimp and 13 Roman amphorae. Wait, what? Yeah, that's what these containers are called, and they were found in a seafood store in Spain during a routine inspection. They could date back to the 1st century, but there may be something fishy going on here. The shop's owners are now under investigation for breaking laws on possessing historical artifacts. Talk about girl power. This is the all-female team sailing around the world to study plastics in the ocean. And they've got their work cut out for them. Tiny plastic fragments in our oceans will eventually get into the food chain and in our bodies.
I realized that actually being a woman, having those chemicals inside my body during pregnancy would be really bad news.
So Emily Penn co-founded Expedition, a team of 300 women from more than 30 countries pulling together to study plastic pollution. You go, girls. And rainbow, my goodness. Check out this cool house in Illinois, freshly painted with every color of the rainbow.
I'm glad that it just brings so many smiles to everybody.
Taylor Berg and her 2 boys spent 4 weeks getting their rainbow home just right, and their neighbors are loving it.
The spirit of the rainbow house is giving people something else to focus on.
A little colorful comfort, if you will. For Take a Look at This, I'm Britt Conway.
Love it. Bringing joy to the people in the neighborhood.
I love the rainbow house.
It's great. All right, Sarah, you have enough to talk about. You don't need us to talk more.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, Max and Sarah. We are tracking Hurricane Hannah, which is currently a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour, but gusts of up to 85 miles per hour. It's moving to the west at about 7 miles per hour. And our very own Justin Horn, he is right on Padre Island, south of Corpus Christi. Now, it is important to note that this is probably going to make landfall somewhere around Baffin Bay, which is well south of Corpus Christi there. A very low populated area, but that is where the hurricane is expected to make landfall. But it's right along this leading edge, this eye wall, that you really get those higher winds. And Justin has been reporting wind gusts out there. Something also to note is that surge of up to about 3 to 5 feet could be possible. So here's a look at what the winds are going to do with Hannah, making landfall early in the afternoon, bringing with it tropical storm force winds from Aransas Pass all the way down to South Padre Island. And within that, we could have some hurricane strength winds of about 75 miles per hour or greater. And then as it moves onshore a little bit more, it's going to weaken, but still bringing tropical storm force winds to a good portion of the Rio Grande Valley during the day today. Into early tomorrow, it'll eventually dissipate tomorrow when it runs into the Sierra Madres, but still very impressive wave heights from Hurricane Hannah right now. Right around the center there, 20-foot wave heights out into the Gulf of Mexico, but it's right along the shore there that you start to see 13-foot wave heights, and we can definitely see those very high waves and the effects of storm surge from Justin's perspective. And again, Justin is out in Padre Island, on North Padre Island. Justin, what are you seeing? What are you hearing as the eye wall continues to get closer from Hannah?
Yeah, the winds have been pretty steady here now. We're getting a good northerly wind because of how we are relative to the storm. And these winds probably going to get stronger here within the next, I'd say, 15 to 30 minutes as that edge of that eye wall gets a little bit closer. I'm going to step out of the way here and show you what we're looking at as far as the ocean is concerned. Getting some pretty big waves, but we're starting to see with the winds, the water sort of turning as well as this hurricane gets a little bit closer. We've seen some pretty good storm surge, 2 to 4 feet in some cases here. It's sort of surged up to these barriers that they have protecting the road. But we're starting to see that secondary squall come in, and that, again, that's sort of the leading edge of the eye wall here. So we expect things will get a little bit worse before they get better. A lot of people out here, out and about, looking around, seeing what's going on, hopefully being careful about it, not getting too close to the waters, because you can see that water coming up right there with some of these gustier winds. Right now, it's dry, but we do think that the rain's going to pick up here pretty quickly. And Sarah, you sort of alluded to this, but some heavy rainfall. There could be some flooding associated with this as it moves inland and sort of starts to fall apart. But at the moment, we're watching the winds pretty closely here. And again, they're out of the north. We're starting to see some gusts probably up there around 50 miles per hour. We may start to see a few tropical storm force wind gusts here where we are on Padre Island. And I do want to mention this. I forgot to mention this off the top. Corpus Christi police are telling us that the entrance to Bob Hall Pier actually underwater. So they're directing people away from that. Just gives you an idea of sort of what we're looking at here. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Justin. Justin is staying safe out there. He's an experienced storm chaser. Difficult to see those people out there trying to get to see the hurricane approach. It's about to get very windy there, and it's about to get floodwaters about to approach. So Justin's out there being safe, of course, in the storm chaser, but everybody across the southern coast there of Texas, from Rockport and Aransas Pass all the way down to Laguna Madre, under that hurricane warning as Hurricane Hannah approaches. Now here in San Antonio, we're really going to be dealing with the outer bands of Hannah. You can see that there's still some showers going on near Hallettsville, going on near Gonzales. These are starting to move to the west a little bit, so around San Antonio we should be able to see some on and off again rainfall today, which is welcome news for us here. It's been a very July dry, but again, the dangerous part of the storm will stay well south of San Antonio, south of Corpus Christi, near Baffin Bay, making landfall sometime in the afternoon. I really like this graphic because it shows the streaky nature of the rainfall. Really flooding rains for areas across the Rio Grande Valley down to Brownsville. In some places, by the end of this storm system, by Sunday evening, potentially up to 7 to 10 inches of rain, flooding rains. Then as Hannah dissipates over the Sierra Madres, it's still going to swing around some areas of rainfall. And so here in San Antonio, we'll continue to see a chance for rain tomorrow as well, but it'll be those outer bands, passing downpours, maybe a few flashes of lightning, no severe weather expected. But again, notice how streaky this is in nature. There will be people that get good rain, and then there will be people that don't see any rainfall. And unfortunately, that's the case with these tropical storms. And since Hannah decided to take a turn south instead of closer to us in San Antonio, near 1 inch of rain when all is said and done for the lucky few out there. But down near Corpus Christi, over 5 inches of rain. Over that, even further down in the Rio Grande Valley. Here you can very clearly see where Hannah is, right there, that counterclockwise motion of the deep low pressure system, which is Hurricane Hannah. Starting to see some clouds start to spread back into San Antonio as well. That'll help keep our temperatures down. That, as well as the chance for rain, will help keep our temperatures down. We're likely going to see a high temperature right around near 90 degrees. It's also going to be breezy today. Winds will be from the northeast at about 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts up to 30 miles per hour at times. So it is going to be breezy. We welcome the breeze, helps keeps things cool, especially when it's from the north and from the east. But again, a lot more windy down near where Hurricane Hannah is going to be. 60% chance for on and off again downpours today, a high near 90, better chance for rain tomorrow as Hannah starts to dissipate a bit. And then we'll see our rain chances trickle on down until Friday when it'll just be hot and humid. Max, Sarah.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. 9:49, 82 degrees out.
A big event at Universal Studios canceled due to the pandemic. We have more details. That's next on GMSA. In your morning consumer headlines, the housing market came back to life in June. The National Association of Realtors says sales of previously owned homes jumped nearly 21% from May. That's the largest month-over-month increase since 1968. However, sales are still below where they were before the coronavirus pandemic started. Well, Universal Studios is canceling its big annual Halloween event in Orlando and Hollywood theme parks because of the pandemic. Universal making the announcement on Twitter. Horror Nights has been happening for nearly 30 years and usually includes haunted houses and scary themed attractions. Universal says it is disappointed but is looking forward to creating an amazing event in 2021. The company says it is now focused on operating safely for daytime guests.
Time now, 9:53, 82 degrees out.
Well, are you running out of ideas for what you can do this summer? Tomorrow on GMSA, we give you some tips of how to make your own indoor vegetable garden.
We're bringing you live from the latest from the city's Southside on a plane crash that has been confirmed by the San Antonio Police Department. This is all happening on the 9400 block of Espada Road. According to Sergeant Rob Salazar here on the scene, a plane was taking off of Stinson Municipal Airport and was reportedly too heavy. There was a gust of wind at that point, and that plane ended up losing control and crashing behind a residence just a few feet away from us. Right now, authorities are looking through brush behind this blue home that you may be able to see on your screen. They are waiting for FFA to arrive as they'll be handling the investigation, but it has been confirmed by Sergeant Salazar that there were two people on that plane. One has been confirmed dead. The other has been transported with injuries to a local hospital here. Please stay tuned to KSAT.com for the latest update on this plane crash on the 9400 block of Espada Road. From the city Southside, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Lizzie. In the midst of this pandemic, on top of the coronavirus, the infections, the hospitalizations, the deaths, there's the financial and economic future, and it remains a big question mark. Tomorrow morning on Leading SA at 8 a.m., San Antonio Hispanic Chamber of Commerce interim president and CEO Juan Ayala joins us live to talk about the current San Antonio economy and what is next. We want viewer input as well. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask, submit them right now on KSAT.com. Just head to the Leading SA section.
And Hurricane Hannah continues to strengthen as it approaches the Texas coast south of Corpus Christi. Hurricane Hannah now has winds of 80 miles per hour with gusts of up to 100 miles per hour, and it's expected to make landfall a little bit later today south of Corpus Christi, right near Baffin Bay area. That's where we have a hurricane warning for those hurricane force winds. And of course, this is going to be a flooding issue for the Rio Grande Valley as Hurricane Hannah continues to meander over the RGV later on today. Here in San Antonio, we'll get a few bands of rain showers. You can see from Gonzales to Hallettsville, those bands of rain showers are pushing off to the west, closer to San Antonio. So today, especially during the afternoon hours, we'll have about a 60% chance for scattered on and off again rain. It's not going to rain all day, and there will be some times of sunshine out there too. But some heavy rain south of Hallettsville right there on 77 at the moment and near Gonzales. This weekend looks like this, okay? better chance for rain tomorrow, off and on again as Hannah starts to deteriorate a little bit. We'll continue to see better rain chances tomorrow. Highs near 90 degrees both today and tomorrow. And then our rain chances during the week are going to taper off, and we'll actually start to see the sun come out again. And by the end of the week, it'll be just hot. So hopefully we get some good rain. In some places in San Antonio, if you're lucky, you may get up to an inch of rain over the next couple of days. Some of us are going to miss out completely. That's the nature of these storms. Sorry to say that, Max and Sarah.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for keeping us up to date. And we'll have more on Hurricane Hannah on KSAT.com.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.